5. Today we're taking a look at some of the scariest videos that have never been explained. Number 1. Over on TikTok, a man named Scott Seuss often posts videos of himself working on cars. And because of his strong love of his cars, he has a security camera set up so he can always keep an eye on them. Well, late one night, he received a notification from this camera, and when he took a look at the footage, he saw this.
Driveway Ghost is back. I'm gonna go walk through it. Here, hold this over here. It's gonna show these fools. It's not a local crackhead. Keep it like keep it where you can see it. Let no
What looks like a glowing figure can be seen standing in the middle of the cars. Scott couldn't believe his eyes and immediately went outside in an attempt to debunk this. And strangely enough, as his flashlight illuminated the area, this figure vanished. He then stood in the exact spot where this figure was to prove that there was absolutely nothing there. But eerily enough, as soon as he walked away, the figure can once again be seen. So was this something paranormal? I'll leave that up to you to decide. Number 2. TikTok user Mary Cruz Lopez 133 posted a video in October of 2022 of something she can't explain. While at a horror attraction, she couldn't help but notice a replica Annabelle doll locked inside a glass case. Not wanting to pass up on the opportunity, she began recording a video with this infamous doll. But while recording, something absolutely chilling was caught on camera.
No voltea.
Ya no volteó.
Perra. Ya no volteó.
Ah, ya volteó los ojos.
Tiene miedo, no voltea.
Ya volteó los ojos. Ya volteó los ojos.
While recording, the doll's eyes darted to its right, seeming to look at Mary. Although she didn't notice this in the moment, this terrifying footage sent chills down her spine when she later reviewed the video. As you all know, I am not a fan of dolls. And if I had it my way, Annabelle would have a grenade strapped to her face. Number 3. A woman named Martina has been documenting the haunting in her home on TikTok for the last 2 years. Her unexplainable experiences have led her to believe that a dark presence is purposely tormenting her and her young children. With cameras set up throughout the house, she's always ready for whatever may happen next. Well, recently, this camera managed to catch proof of this spirit in action.
Leave the ball and leave us alone! What the hell?
As her son was playing in the living room, the basketball on the floor incredibly began bouncing on its own, somehow levitating into the air, then bouncing over and over. This sudden activity sent them into a panic as they quickly ran out of the room. But unfortunately, this was nothing compared to what was caught on camera next.
God. Give me the food. Oh my. Nothing. It's nothing. Mom! What is this? Oh my God! No, look! What the hell is that locking door? No, it's okay.
While in her room with her kids, something dark can be seen peering in from the top of the doorway. The kid's toy then somehow got knocked to the floor, and as Martina went to pick it up, she noticed this figure. She quickly grabbed her baby and went to investigate as things continued to get creepier. This terrifying situation would have me moving out of that house immediately. But is this a genuine haunting or just a well-made hoax? Number 4. Paranormal investigators Jeff and Phil returned to investigate a place known as the Wheelhouse. Dating back to 1885, this building was once used for a fabric business, then later transformed into the pottery business that it is today. The current owners have experienced bizarre, unexplainable things inside for the last 30 years. And now the Ghost Tech team has returned in hopes of catching even more proof of the entities inside.
The lady that wanders here that leaves the smell of a fragrance, a perfume. What was that, Phil? I heard knocking. Did you hear knocking?
I don't know.
It was as soon as I mentioned the lady. As I am talking about the spirit of a lady that wanders the wheelhouse, I hear knocking come from nearby. Here is the audio enhanced. The lady that wanders here that leaves the smell of a fragrance, a perfume. What was that, Phil? I heard knocking.
Almost immediately into an EVP session, the sound of knocking was heard nearby. And not long after, Jeff heard something else that sent chills down his spine.
And this went on for a fair amount of time until after the war, when they decided that they were going to go back to what they knew best, and that was shop fitting. Now, one of the directors was a chap called George
Hold on, Phil.
Yes.
I heard a voice. Something to do with Yankees? I heard it as clear as anything, and I was looking at you. I thought it was you, and it wasn't you. As Phil is speaking about the World War II company Parnell Limited, I clearly hear a voice that mentions the word Yankees. I then realise that it is not Phil, and on the replay of our audio, there is indeed a man's voice who is saying, "The Yankees are here."
Until after the war, when they decided that they were going to go back to what they knew best, and that was shop fitting. That was shop fitting.
A chilling, disembodied male voice was caught. This low, raspy voice did not belong to Jeff or Phil, and considering they were the only two people on the property at the time, this voice is unexplainable. The duo continued trying to make contact when something let them know it was nearby.
Someone's walking.
I heard something then.
Just heard footsteps. From the other side of the wheelhouse, we both hear footsteps walk by. Here is the audio with enhancements. Someone's walking.
The clear sound of footsteps came from somewhere in the room. This sound is unmistakable, as both men noticed it immediately. Later on into the night, these sounds and voices amazingly continued to come through.
But they survived, whereas the occupants of the houses that went away the other direction, I heard you then.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, I heard that.
Pottery moving again.
Yeah. But what I was going to say was it illustrates the...
A ghostly voice saying hello was captured on the digital recorder, clearly sounding like a spirit trying to communicate with the investigators. But little did they know that they were about to record their best EVP to date.
What was your role? What did you do? How did you help? What was that, Jeff?
Jesus. Hold on a sec, Phil. That come from?
What was it?
A woman's voice. A woman's voice, something to do with factory outside. That's part of what I heard. It made me jump. A disembodied voice of a lady responds to Phil. It is the clearest disembodied voice that we have captured to date. The voice is saying a factory somewhere just outside, which comes from behind me and startles me. And it is the same voice of a woman that we have received before on our previous investigation. And then Phil asked if she worked for the company that repaired the gun turrets, and the same voice responds by saying yes. Here is the enhanced audio.
What was your role? What did you do? How did you help?
A factory somewhere outside.
Help!
A factory somewhere outside.
Help!
A female voice came through, clear as day, in response to Phil. This unnerving voice made Jeff jump as he was able to hear it with his own ears. Well, after the investigation came to a close and they later reviewed their footage, they discovered that they may have caught the being this voice belonged to.
Before the investigation commenced at the Wheelhouse, we had set up a static cam to run for 6 hours. And during the production of this episode, when the camera was reviewed, we had captured a shadow figure moving from right to left. No one had access to the building as we had the keys, and every window was sealed so no light would contaminate any evidence. Here is the original footage of the figure, followed by the footage with enhancements.
A dark, transparent figure walked directly in front of the camera. This being moved across the room from right to left, and despite being extremely faint, its dark outline can clearly be seen. These solid pieces of evidence have left the Ghost Tech team 100% certain that the Wheelhouse is haunted. Number 5. Back in 2020, a TikTok user named Fernando was working the night shift at a train yard. Accompanied by a few coworkers, he luckily wasn't alone for what was about to be a terrifying night. Late into the night, he began to record a few videos to help pass the time, but it wasn't until later that he noticed something chilling in one of his videos. As he walked past the train, it looked as if someone was standing inside. An eerie pale figure stood and stared out the window of the train. According to Fernando, this train was empty and locked for the night, so there definitely should not have been anyone inside. This terrifying video just taught me that now I also need to be afraid of trains at night. Great. Number 6. TikTok user Maddie Bark began noticing strange things happening in her home not long after doing an investigation at a cemetery. She believes something dark followed her home and is now doing everything it can to get her attention. On an almost daily basis, she began spotting a faint figure standing outside of her home. Well, one night, this figure presented itself right outside her front door.
Maggie? Maggie? Oh my god. Maggie? What? Oh my god. Did he just move? Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Is he out there? Do you see anything?
No, I don't see anything.
It looked like it turned and walked away. The only place it could have gone is through this.
A pale white figure can be seen through the glass of her front door. This ominous figure stared into the house before turning to the side and fading away into the darkness. Maddie quickly opened the door to confront the creeper, but no one was there. Strangely enough, this figure walked to the right and disappeared, but this porch has a guardrail that would have blocked a living person. So what exactly was on her porch that night? Number 7. Chris from the Urbex Hill YouTube channel recently set up a camera to record overnight in a local cemetery. He wasn't sure what, if anything, he might catch, but later on, as he sifted through hours of footage, something strange caught his eye. In the background in front of the building, what looks like an apparition can be seen. This misty black mass emerged from behind the tree and quickly flew upwards. But as it ascended towards the second-story window, it quickly vanished into thin air. After reviewing this footage, I think it's safe to say that this was definitely not a person or animal. But if not, then what was lurking in the cemetery that night? Make sure to follow me on Instagram to hear more from your boy. As always, if you enjoy these creepy videos, then make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to see more videos like this.